bitch like real. I ain't taking L's in Madden all year.
Yo. What's good, YouTube? It's Ray Jarrell. So in today's video, I want to show you guys this gun empty bunch dot in Madden 23. So if you enjoyed this video, go and drop a like on the video right now. Go ahead and sub and turn on post notifications on. So I am in the Commanders offensive playbook. Again, I'm in the Commanders offensive playbook. And also, real quick, if you guys are interested in ebooks at all, make sure you check out my website, allthingsmadden.com. The link to that is in the description. And we still are looking for people for CFLs. It's been extremely hard trying to start this up, and I've been trying to stay patient, stay patient. So if you're on PS4 and want to join in a free CFL, make sure you go to the website, allthingsmadden.com. You want to go to the All Things Madden tab, and you want to go ahead and check out the free CFL section. So sign up for that if you want to. You get a Discord link, and you'll be in the Discord. So only sign up if you're serious. I've had a ton of people sign up and then just quit out before they even get a team. So just be serious, and just keep in mind we are waiting to get a lot of active people before we start. So there's that. There's ebooks on there. There's a lot of things on there. So check it out. Website is allthingsmadden.com. So anyways, let's go on and get into this video. So personnel doesn't matter per se, but what I need you to understand what this video is for. This video is to show you how I like to run this play wide curl. Now there's going to be about 3 different setups I'm going to give you, and all of them are based on the same thing, is just picking apart zone coverage. So this is not a man beater. This is not a match beater. It can beat match, however, but it's not my favorite versus match. You really want to run this versus zone coverage. So that's what this is about, because this offense is great for picking apart man coverage as well. They have a lot of great plays on here that can pick apart man. You have divide wheel that can have some nice man beaters. You have curl flat, you can set up some nice man beaters. Trail is specifically designed for man coverage. Same thing for Z spot, have a lot of man beating routes. So just keep in mind, this is for zone coverage, because there's a lot of people who like the wide curl play but have no idea how to run it. So that's why I'm doing this video, okay? So let's go on and dive right into wide curl. Now, we're going to come out in a dollar style defense, because that's what you'll see most of the time when you come out in an empty set. You'll see a light defensive set, or you may see some, 3-3-5 normal. You probably will see. But for the most part, you're either going to see that, or you're going to see some type of dollar defense. So that's why we're going to take a look at the dollar. So what I did was I took out the good defensive line, put in some garbage ones, so I can have some time in the pocket to throw the ball. And we have 2 athletic linebackers. Well, they're safeties at the linebacker positions to simulate what your user would do if you were playing this in an online game. So anyways, got speed all the way around. Now what I'm gonna do is take a look at your basic zone coverages, and then I'll probably give you a man cover setup in the end, just in case you're not sure if your opponent's running man coverage or not. So what we're gonna go over mainly is cover 3, cover 2, and cover 4 drop, because those are the main defenses that you will see when you play online, besides all-out man coverage. All right, besides that, because this is for zone coverage. All right, so when you run this offense, you always want to have your 3 receivers, your bunch side, your bunch side to the wide side of the field. That's the best way to think about it. So your 2 receivers should always be on the short side of the field, and that's simply because you always want your bunch to be on the wide side. That's why. All right, so for the setup that I like, this one works versus any zone coverage. So all you want to do is you want to take X, you want to put him on a hitch, and you want to take R1, you want to motion him across. Now, this setup right here is going to kill every single zone coverage in the game. All you want to do is actually be able to drift a little bit left in the pocket, and we're going to be able to have circle no matter what they play. We're going to have that every single time, unless they play a hard flat defense. And I'll talk about hard flat defense here in a little bit. But for your standard purple coverage, or your cloud flat coverage, or your zone drop coverage, this route will always be open. Only way this route is not open is if they zone drop a hard flat, like a 0 or a 5 right here, or they shade down, and I'll talk about shaded down here in a second. So any regular zone coverage, this is gonna be the play you want to run. And the reason why is if they don't zone drop, they will play like this every time, and it's simply because of the route combos that we have. As of right now, this purple is not going to recognize purple or cloud flats. They're not going to recognize that we have an underneath route, so they're going to man match onto this 2 receiver right here. Now, don't ask me why they do it. That's just what they do. If there's no zone drop and you run this play with the 2 receivers to the short side, they will do this every single time. So he's going to set up right here in this beautiful spot. And this play is so good is because we're making the user have to decide between these 2 routes right here every single time. And then also this route is just in case they're doing anything funny like zone blitzing or something, then you can actually dump this ball all the way across. So you can tell we're reading this left side of the field, and it's going to be a simple read every single time. So again, this works for any zone coverage that is not shaded down, okay? So you might be thinking, Rel, what's so special about shaded down? And I'll show you. So here's shaded down cover 3, where we call underneath. And again, if they want to play this style of defense, there are better plays to attack this style of coverage, all right? So it's all just a cat and mouse. You know, obviously you can't run the same coverage versus same setup versus everything, but just kind of look at how everything is bracketed underneath. If they shade down, that's how you know if they shade down. And there are better plays to attack shaded down coverage. This is just not one of them, okay? So just wanted to make sure I did show that so you guys wouldn't comment, well, Rel, if they shade down, it takes it away, you know. Yes, I understand that, but that's why we have more than one play, if that makes sense. And my hair is in my eyes. But I want to show you versus cover 3 normal again, because I want to show you the same thing will happen every single time. So the only way that this does not work is if they shade down in their coverage. And also there's a cover 2 beater setup I want to give you. I'm just thinking about it out loud. But anyways, you guys can tell you're gonna have that every single time, and it's because of how zone match plays whenever there's no zone drops. It's their normal zone coverage assignments. It's just kind of glitching it out a little bit. So that's why I wanted to bring this setup to you. So cover 4 drop is the next one I want to talk about because it's so similar to cover 3. All it is just an extra deep zone, and it's still gonna, the hook zones are still gonna play the same. So anyways, it's literally still gonna be the same exact read between R1 and X, and just seeing what the user's doing. Notice how R1's open, and then look at circle. So if you throw it right and time it right, then you'll actually be able to throw it and gain about 10-11 yards off the throw. So you're going to almost force your opponent to either play man coverage or they're going to play shaded down with their zone coverage. And if they start doing that, we have other plays to run inside of this full scheme. So anyways, next I want to show you cover 2. So with cover 2, this one's going to be a different setup, but it's going to be a one-play touchdown if you want it to be. So if you believe your opponent's going to play cover 2, you can take R1, you can put them on a streak. I like to take X, put them on a hitch, and then you want to motion out this drag route. So what you want to do is look, you see those safeties split. As soon as he passes up, of course I wasn't able to throw it without having to worry about under pressure. But anyways, I want to show you real quick. So what you're reading is, if you're assuming they're in cover 2, then what I like to do is run this play right here, because what's going to happen is a lot of times this will be the user on this vertical hook. So if this is the user on a vertical hook, he's doing exactly what we want him to do, is play down. A lot of times they'll try to bait you right here, but if they're not right here, you can also take this drag route right here. I love to do that as well, because a lot of times the user will probably just sit. They'll either try to bait you on this, or they'll actually be aggressive right here, and then you have time to dump it off right here. So a lot of times it just depends, but you can tell you can dump it off real quick. And if they're on this vertical hook right here, sometimes things I like to do is, if they are really aggressive trying to attack this drag route, you can actually throw this ball to 17. If you see that, if you can imagine a vertical hook not being there, because sometimes the user will try to be aggressive and run right here. And when you see them run, then you can throw 17 right there in that little gap. And I'm gonna try to show you that right now. And that's why I said I like this versus cover 2, because it's gonna give us a bit of a different picture. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna try to use the 2 controllers at one time to kind of, oops, sorry, my alarm went off. Actually, you know what? Let me actually turn my alarms off, because I have another one set. Yeah, it's 8 o'clock in the morning here, and I got a car to detail here in a little bit, so completely forgot about that I have my alarm on. But anyways, you want to take R1, put them on the streak, X on the hitch, and I'm trying to simulate the user here, because I'm going to try to show you what I was talking about. So what the user will do, let's say they try to come here, and then you can actually throw that right there, except for I didn't get to put any lead pass on it, but that's essentially another option that you have. And I was just showing you that just in case, you know, the user, because this is realistically what you'll kind of see, is they'll try to be really aggressive right here, and then they'll try to work back. But you see this little gap right here, you could definitely attack it. I just didn't have any precision on my pass. I just pressed the button, but you can tell, you know, that gap is there. But your main read in this play is gonna be R1, and I'll show you that you can throw it. I know I didn't get a chance to throw it, but I'm gonna show you. You just have to wait for him to pass him, and then as soon as he passes him, you want to kind of lead past the inside. So if you have time, you want to throw it, but if not, you have your reads. But you definitely can fit that ball in there. It's actually really hard because I'm getting hollered at. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spy these 2, and it's only because I'm on all Madden practice mode. When you run this online, you'll have time to step up in the pocket. So you'd want to wait for him to clear, and you want to lead past it inside. Of course, I'm not going to be able to get it, but you want to look for it. It can be open. It's not something you want to bank on, but I do like to call it versus cover 2 because more than likely you will have it. Just of course when I start recording, they're not going to let me want to throw it. But anyways, that's how I really love to actually use this play. To me, it's a really solid play. But I do want to talk about man coverage. I did say I want to get you man coverage set up for the basically the last part of this video. But although it's not a man beater, if somebody happens to run man, what I like to do is actually take R1. I'll motion him. I like to take him and put him on a zig, and then I'll actually motion him back. I like to utilize a double motion because if you realize, if we take R1 right now, we can't put him on a zig or nothing. So I like to put a zig, and then from here, what I'll do is take X, put him on a slant, and then I'll actually motion him across. So this way, we have pretty much a 3-way read, and notice how where X is, he actually cannot get pressed. And that's simply because he is off the ball. So that's why I like to actually use X instead of R1 to put on a slant. And so right here, it's exactly what you think it is. You want to read between the zig first, then the slant, and you want to see if you can win with this drag. Or you can read a drag, slant, and then peep the zig. So it all just depends. A lot of times I like to peep the zig first, and then I'll throw it down low underneath because a lot of times you will have a speedy running back. A lot of times you will have a great advantage on that route right there. So that's why I love to read the zig first. So again, you can take R1, put him on a zig, motion him back, and then we can take X, put him on a slant, and then motion him across. Now I still love this setup too versus zone coverage. It still will work. It's just, to me, I love it a lot better versus man. So let's go to man coverage, and then let's go ahead and pinch. And then a lot of times people will shade inside, so let's go inside underneath. And I just want to prove to you that a lot of times X is not going to get pressed off the slant. So notice how X is going to get open. And then you want to kind of read circle. So like I said, it depends on where you want to go, who your personnel is. So to me, when I'm running this play, I like to read my zig first as always, because zig routes are going to be great versus man. And you want to read this high-low over here. Normally that's how I will do it. Just read that high-low, and a lot of times you'll be able to pass that on the sideline. And again, it all depends on where the user going, who your matchup is. Now, Dotson is unfortunately not going to be able to run away from Gier, so I would put my best route runner right here if I wanted to actually look at this. I would just put my best route runner. Or there's something else you can do too. I mean, it's a little basic, but it still gets the job done. So what you can do is do the same thing with the zig. I put them on a slant. So you can also put them on a zig, and then you can actually take circle, put them on a slant, X on a slant, and then we can just motion our slant across. So instead of a drag, we now have Dotson on a man-beaten slant. So let me make sure we are in man coverage. All right. And again, like I said, you can tell it just kind of just depends. See how now we got more separation, right? So if you want to put them on a drag, put them on a slant, you can definitely do that. So I love the interchange between those two plays when it comes specifically to man coverage against this play. Because like I said, just look at this, how we could hit this zig right here. Now, last thing I do want to give you is, if you don't like how much spacing, because technically this is terrible spacing, meaning that a user can actually cover both of these routes. So if you want to switch it up, and this is the last setup I give you, if you want to switch it up, so somebody just running man, you feel suffocated, maybe you don't know what to call, so what I like to do here is we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take R1, we're still going to put him on a zig, we're going to send him back, and this time we're going to take X, we're going to put him on an in route, we're going to smart route the in route to 10 yards, and then you can take circle, still put him on a slant if you want to, or drag, but we're going to take this X route now, we're going to motion him over, and I promise you, you have enough time to set all this up. It's not hard. And if you feel like you're not getting enough spacing, you could either run the play this way with the the in route now, or you could have circle run a drag. It all depends. But the slant is going to do well versus that man cover. So anyways, you can read R1, and now notice how we have enough room to actually read our tight end in route. So everything's not congested. Okay, so that's another. I love this setup if the user is actually pretty decent. Or you want to just give another variation. So now notice how we could easily read between the zig route, we can read between this route, and also this is good because if they play a purple and they don't zone drop it, that purple is actually not going to be in this window, okay? And I'll show you that as part of a last thing, and then we'll go ahead and end the video. So what I mean is, if they play a defense where they shade inside, underneath like this, but I'm gonna put them in the purple, okay? So that's just simulating a zone drop of like 10-15 yards. Basically, if they don't zone drop for the slant, it's going to be wide open, right? If they play a normal purple, which some people will play defense that looks like this, where they actually have a purple that's not zone drop, and they are going to call inside, where they shade inside. That's still a completely meta setup. But what I wanted to do is show you this right here with this setup. So if they don't play a hard flat, remember, if they play a hard flat, it will cover the slant. But if they don't play a hard flat, they play a purple, watch what happens. Notice how, of course, I'm still going to get a throw out of sack, but notice how that purple's not going to drive on is what I was trying to get you to understand. We'll go back, take a look at it, and then that's going to wrap it up for this video. But again, on the read progression on this play, you always want to read between the zig, and you want to read between the slant and in route, wherever the user is going to go. But watch this purple right here. Notice how the purple is not going to come down and attack this. He's actually going to float onto these two routes right here, and at the end he will, but by that time you'll have more than enough time to throw this ball right here in this little window. That's if they call a purple. All right, so they have to zone drop to account for this, or play a hard flat. That's the whole point of me doing this video. But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. And if you're curious, if you're more curious about this scheme, then consider getting an ebook on it, where I'll go more in depth about all these different plays that they have, how to kill zone coverage, man coverage, shaded down zone coverage, you know, shaded man coverage. I'll go over all that, man. So anyways, I just want to get this to you just in case you already have a scheme and you wanted to add to it. I hope I can bring back value to you. But that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I do hope you have a blessed day. I'm Rage Real, and I'm out.